Hello and welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Peggy Romero. Thank you for joining me today. So this week I'm filling in for Bill Courtwright and David Barreto, the super millennial, and we are discussing the why. So I'm excited because on today's podcast, I'm doing an interview with Pablo. I can't pronounce his last name, but he'll tell it to us. Pablo is a certified yoga instructor, also a certified health coach. He's an avid surfer that I know just from conversation with him, and he is currently studying to be a stress mastery shift coach. So we're excited to have him there. And I'm sure we're going to learn much more about him very soon. So welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast, Pablo. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Peggy. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. How do I say your last name?
Echeverría.
No, no wonder I can't say it. Well, Pablo lives in Chile and he's actually in Chile right now. So we're doing this by Zoom.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful that you're here. So we're talking about the why. So tell us what you do, Pablo, in case I didn't explain things well enough. What do you do?
Yeah, so basically to be very specific with what I do with my clients is that I help them and I teach them how the body and mind work, like all this mind body connection works, and I guide them through the process of establishing consistent healthy habits so they can live a life with more energy, being more productive, dealing with stressful situations, and so on. So we go through their diet, we go through their exercise habits. We use meditation, we use breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques, understanding how the ego works, and so on.
So not much different than stress mastery coaching.
No. Actually,
Yeah.
many things that I teach and that I live, I have learned them from the stress mastery community and from Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, I know actually you're coaching with Bill right now, right?
Exactly.
So the health coaching goes right in with that. You're teaching diet and exercise, right?
Yes and no. So, of course, that is part of the health coach, of the health coaching, but health coaching for me is also all this mind thing, all the ego thing, you know,
Oh,
all the
all of it.
mindfulness. So everything is goes into the health coaching, I will say.
Yeah. So I know that you did your blood work and that you found out a whole bunch of stuff about your own health and what your diet needed to be. So things are a little bit different for you right now, right? Working on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So actually, I changed my diet 2 months ago, a drastical change, and but I was very open with that because since the last, let's say, 7 years, I have been like proving different things in my diet and see what works, what doesn't. Um, I am not really like attached to any way of let's say eat, so I was pretty
Yeah.
okay with that. And with my clients it's the same. When I work with my clients, I don't tell them what to do or how to do it. I encourage them to try different things and see what works and what doesn't. So
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you got the blood work because I know that you learned a lot about that. So,
yeah.
what about your surfing? You just do that for a hobby? You go surfing all the time? Is that your exercise and your yoga instructor? And you have an exciting life out there in Chile on the beach.
Yeah, so I've been surfing for the last about 20 years, in and out,
Wow.
because during my life I have had a lot of injuries. So I would, let's say, I will spend maybe 4 years without surfing because I couldn't, like 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. And now, yes, I surf as much as I can. This year I haven't been surfing a lot because from different things in my life that are happening, but this is something that I have really in my heart, and I know that it always gonna be there. So
Right.
so yeah, it's part of my exercise routine. I also do yoga. I also work out a lot in the gym or with the implements that I have. I am constantly moving as well. So, and I'm not really fixed in a place now. Now I've been moving from the last almost 2 years. So
Nice.
yeah, I was living in Panama, then I moved to Chile, then I bought an RV, a camper van, you know. So I started moving around
Nice.
Chile. So, and I'm going now. I'm in like 1 month and a half. I'm gonna travel again. I'm going to the Rise and Shift event, and then I'm going back to
Yeah.
Panama. I'm gonna be traveling around Central America. So
Awesome. That's a really fun life. A guy after my own heart. You're a lot younger than me, though, right? How old are you? 20 something?
I'm 30 years old.
Oh, you're 30. Yeah, I think it's really awesome that you're learning so much about yourself and finding out so much about yourself so young because when I was your age, I was just trapped in my life. I really didn't have any I had a lot of motivation and drive, but I didn't have a lot of hope. And you just are just out there doing it all. So how long have you been like this? Always like just driven to succeed and just wanting to live life to the fullest. This is just innate in you. You've just always been like this.
Uh, yeah, I will say yes. I will say that since I was like a young kid, very like a child, I always knew that I was kind of different and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to help people. I have always been involved in different, let's say, social activities, and every time that I was doing something for people, I was feeling very, very good. So I knew that I needed to do something to help the world.
Nice.
So yeah, so anyway, I was born in a very traditional family or social group. So I studied a kind of a traditional university career. I started working in finance. I worked in a multinational company for about 4 years, but I knew that I was going to do something different, and I knew that that was not my path. But anyway, I knew also that that part of my life was also part of this big path. I was learning so much things. I was also earning good money, which allowed me to pay my courses, my yoga certification, my health coaching certification.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I knew that somehow and sometime that was going to change, and it just came one day. One day I just realized that I needed to quit my job and I needed to start doing this, and I just did it.
Good for you. See, that's what I call that you're enough just wasn't enough. So you had a good job, you were doing all these classes, you were making decent money, but you just have it in you. Like, you got to go do something else. So can you articulate your why? Like, what gave you the guts and the courage to do that? What made you know that you weren't going to be able to just do the status quo life that your family or your tribe raised you for? Did you have an aha moment, or you just always had it in you and you just made your plan to just go for it?
I think I always had it, but I didn't know how it was going to happen and how
Mm-hmm.
it was going to be. I think stress mastery helped me a lot with that, to understand that this was going to be my path, because and I can tell you later, like, all the my story that led me to stress mastery.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. How long have you been working on yourself and how were you introduced to stress mastery? So you've been working on yourself your whole
Yeah,
life because if you always knew that you were destined for more and for a different life, you were already connected to your inner self, which a lot of us take decades to get there to listen to that voice. So how did you get introduced to stress mastery?
yeah. So let me answer you the question about my why, which I think is important, right?
I
Uh,
do too.
is basically, and I shaped this why after reading a book from Simon Sinek, which is called Start with Why, which I really recommend everyone to read it. And it's pretty funny because it's very similar to my growth purpose. And I shaped this before knowing that my purpose was growth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this why is basically to empower people to take action on their self-empowerment and self-healing or self-development process, and to show them that they are more powerful than they think, that really they have the power within themselves to create their own realities and their own lives. We know in stress mastery that the identity is interchangeable with our reality, right? And that is
Mm-hmm.
exactly kind of my why I want to show people. And you can have a good coach, you can have a doctor, right? But you really need to do the work. You are the one responsible for your life. So
Yeah.
that is kind of my big why, let's say. And also I have a selfish why, we can put it that way, which is everything that I do needs to also help me to grow, help me to heal, help me to develop, to so I can also I can help you to become a better version of yourself, but I need to also be doing something that help me to become a better version of myself.
Yeah, so in Stress Mastery, we call it being selfish with a capital S. Like you have to take care of yourself. And I
Exactly.
think that's really good because having that in your front of mind, will this bring me closer to my new identity of who I am? Or is this leaving me stagnant, or it could even be pulling you away? So if you're always asking yourself that, what am I spending my time on? What are my thoughts? What am I doing? And am I moving towards where I want to move? If we would all do that at least half the time, our life would be exponentially better, right? So
Or,
being
or
connected
at
to our
least
purpose.
or at least 10% of the time.
Yeah, even 10% would be a great start, right? And you guys, Pablo's talking about his growth purpose. And so for those of you guys who don't know your purpose, it's like so important because being connected to your purpose is what keeps you moving. If you're just living, doing whatever you have to do, instead of like saying, like Pablo is this bringing me towards what I want? Your life doesn't get fulfilled. But once you know what your purpose is, it's kind of like, oh, I get it. I see why these desires in my heart are always pushing me that way. So if you don't know your purpose yet, go to the Stress Mastery community. Um, if you don't want to go in there, you can also go to peggyromero.com and do take assessment because that's for the growth purpose. So sorry, Pablo, put in my little 2 cents about the um, purpose exercise
Oh,
there.
that's
It's
that's very
easy to do and so important, don't you think?
I know, yeah, and also knowing your purpose helps you to know how your purpose works or behaves when you are connected or disconnected with the purpose, which means if you are basically in the parasympathetic system, which is the relaxed system, or
Mm-hmm.
the sympathetic, which is the stress system, right? So
Yep.
you
Red zone, green zone.
exactly, red zone, green zone, and you really know, like, oh, I'm feeling this way. Okay, I'm disconnected. I need to do something to get back, right, to the green zone. So that is also
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing how it just all works, that mind body connection. It's crazy. So I was wondering a few things that might be. Oh, wait, you didn't tell me how you were introduced to stress mastery.
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah, so this is kind of a long story. I'm gonna try to do it like explain it shortly. So I'm a surfer, and I have always been really connected with extreme sports. I used to skateboard, alpine skiing. I was a runner in school. I did pole vault as well.
Wow.
And since a very early age, I used to have many injuries.
Yeah, I was just putting the two and two together about the injuries you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to have a lot of injuries, maybe since I was 9 or 10 years old. Like every single year, something would happen to me.
Hmm.
So I started to make changes at age, I will say maybe 14 or 15, 16. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but I started
Yeah.
to quit some to quit some sports. For example, first I stopped running, then I stopped skateboarding, then I stopped, well, doing pole vault, then I stopped doing alpine skiing. All of this because these sports were getting me injured.
Yeah. Now you can fall down in water when you do surfing. You
Exactly.
might get less hurt.
Exactly.
You're
So I
smart.
decided, yeah, and I decided that I was going to only surf and do yoga or workout for being in shape for surfing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even though I did all these changes, I still had a lot of soreness in my body, like in my joints. I will be walking. I remember I was like 23 years old. I was walking and I really would have soreness in my knees. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I have a medical condition. Maybe if I still feel this way at this age, when I am 30, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. Like I really was kind of scared.
Yeah.
So so basically what I did that at that time is that, well, let's say the traditional, the conventional medicine was not helping me, so I started seeking other opinions or other ways to heal myself or to understand what the hell was going on in my body. And
Yeah.
basically I changed my diet. I changed some things in my diet, and I really saw a lot of changes. Like I got in a better shape. I stopped having this soreness. I stopped having these injuries. I started to surf much better, and I started to surf big waves. So as I was surfing bigger waves, I needed to be prepared for that. So then I started with the breathing, and I started practicing apnea, which is basically to how to hold your breath when you are underwater, right? And I realized that all these things were not only helping me for surfing, but in all categories of my life. Like I was much more calmer, confident. I was like, I was really kind of stretching myself in every area of my life because of all these changes that I have applied.
Hmm.
So I started to realize that, yeah, there is really a mind body connection. This is real and I'm living it, right?
Yeah.
So I started to study more about this, like applying different things, different techniques, putting things, getting out of things, like, and in this journey, maybe I was like 2, 3 years since I started that. And I met a lady in Panama while I was living in Panama, and we
Hmm.
were talking about these things, and she told me like, you will love this guy, Bill Corright. He does this and that, I'm gonna share you a book from him, which was the stress response diet.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I read that book and I really love it. It was so scientific, so like all the hormone things and the organs, like I really enjoyed that. So I started following Bill, maybe in Facebook, I don't remember. And then I
Hmm.
realized that he had this community, so I joined the community, and basically that is where it started, my journey with
Yeah.
history.
Nice. So that's good because that's really changed your life getting into the Stress Mastery podcast and living right with Bill Courtwright and the coaching. And now, like I said, you're coaching with Bill. It's life changing. so
Yeah, it is.
much to learn, and he has a great way of doing the science and spirituality, like real life and science, because I have a block when it comes to science. I'm not, I know I'm not supposed to say anything negative about myself, but I have a hard time understanding science. So like I'll hear him and I am like, oh yeah, yeah, because I can feel it in my life experience. Like I can connect it instead of just reading a science book. So I've been really able to be helped too, just like you. It's amazing. So then how long have you been listening to the podcast, and how long have you been in the community? Because I think I've seen you in there a year, or has it been more?
Yeah, so I have been kind of in and out because I joined the community maybe at the end of the year 2017
Oh,
or early 2018. I don't remember exactly.
maybe you just weren't posting that much, so I didn't notice you.
Yeah, I was not posting that much. I was basically studying the courses there. But I
Mm-hmm.
did that like during the year 2018, and then during the 2019 and 2020, I kind of got out of it because I was certifying myself as a yoga teacher. Then I was I got this certification of health coaching. I also was working in this big company, like a consumer's good company, one of the biggest in the world. So I was doing a lot of things. Also, I was surfing, I was traveling, so I kind of put aside all the stress mastery community thing.
But
And
it also sounds like your reason for getting in the community was to do all the coursework in there.
yeah,
Right. So if you did all the courses, then you kind of were like, okay, that's what I came for. So now I'm going to go live it for a while, and just kept on going further with your life.
yeah, exactly. And I was kind of in that, and last year I joined again and start, let's say, engaging more with the community. Early this year, I talked to Bill. I told him that I wanted to be coached by him, and that is why I am coaching with him, and let's say I'm here in the podcast as well. So that
Yeah, you're in it now. Yeah. You're with us now, Pablo.
exactly.
So yeah, and I'm happy about that too. So how has all of this growth impacted your life? I mean, I can hear what you're saying and see the obvious, because I study this and work it and live it. But for our listeners, like, what's the difference in you between just like working at that company and not feeling fulfilled, to taking all these steps to, boom, stepping into the life that you want?
I would say that maybe the biggest thing is, well, before I was only like always kind of running through life. Like if I was not working, I was studying. If I was not studying, I was working out. If I was not working out, I was surfing. If not, with my friend. Like every single moment, I was doing something. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I was really really stressed out, but I didn't know that. You know. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, now I think stress mastery have helped me to really live in the moment, to really slow down, which is something that we talk a lot about in the community and here in the podcast, right? So take life, let's say, more ease, more with more
Take
ease.
it easy.
Yeah, take it
Mm-hmm.
easy and really be more productive with my thing, more focused on my thing. Uh, I can see my ego, which is huge, right? So I can separate myself from my ego.
Mm-hmm.
I can respond when I have a conflict, and of course, this is a kind of you are always learning and you are always getting better, and I know that I can improve a lot in many ways, right? But I am in that process. I am living that process. I'm embracing that. So it's great.
Yeah. Have the people around you noticed, like your family and friends and your close relationships, do they notice a difference in you?
Yeah, I would say yes. Well, as I was living, I live in Panama for some years, so I came back to Chile.
Oh,
Yeah, I came back to Chile, and I really the person that left was a completely different person,
when you got
different
back.
person that the one that got back, right? So, of course, they have seen those changes. Part of it is related to stress mastery. Part of it is related to many other things that I have been
Well,
doing.
you grew up while you were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, has your new sense of ease and more of a stress-free and more balanced lifestyle, has that changed your relationships and the way you deal with people?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
and again, I used to be more explosive or more stressed out. I used to just react, and that was normal. That is what I always saw in people, right? Everyone react when something happened, and I
Yeah,
was the same. I was exactly the same, but of course, having a body that works well, a mind that works well, a body and mind that are connected, you stop reacting this way, and you
you have
start.
a better life experience.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So I know it's really hard work to get from there to up here, climbing the mountain, as we call it.
Mhm.
Um, but you feel like that it's a journey worth taking, right?
Absolutely, yes.
All the hard work that we have
Yeah,
to put in.
yeah. It's a lot of hard work, right? It's a lot of work. You need to do it, but definitely it's worthy. And
Yeah.
if you
And
don't,
like you said at the
yeah,
beginning, there's not a shortcut. You have to do it for yourself.
exactly,
Nobody can do
exactly,
it.
exactly. And if you don't do it, it's gonna be harder for sure. Your life is gonna be harder. So yeah, you need to
Yeah.
do the work. It's gonna be hard in many ways, but many things are gonna get easier, and you're gonna start living the life that you really want to live. So
Hmm.
definitely worthy.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the future? Like, what do you see?
So I'm still learning a lot, always growing.
Hmm.
I'm building kind of my personal brand here in Latin America. So
Hmm.
I'm still in that.
Good
Still,
job.
yeah, growing my business coaching. I'm also doing some things online, like have some courses that I want to have it online so I can sell it from there. And probably we will be doing some things with Bill here in Latin America. So we still need to,
Yes.
yeah, we still need to talk about that. But the idea is to keep growing the all the work that Bill has done in the past years, so we can bring it to the all the Spanish countries, Spanish speaking countries, that, and I can do that kind of link.
Yeah, which will be great because that matches your purpose. Because I can tell by talking to you, not just this time, but other times in our relationship, that not only is your purpose growth, but it's your intention to help everybody else grow, which is amazing because Bill's mission is to create a shift in the planet. So it's cool that, like, I'm vitality purpose and I want everybody to do their best, and your growth, and you want everybody to grow. And so we get to help him create a shift in the planet, which I think is just
Exactly, exactly.
outstanding.
Yeah,
Very exciting.
I'm definitely in that same boat of creating that shift. So
Yeah, it's so cool. Okay, so you guys, Pablo will be at the Rise Up and Shift event September 22nd to 25th. And he will be teaching a yoga class every morning. We might have him doing some other stuff too, but hoping that you'll join us there. And the links to come to that will be at the bottom of the show notes, or you can reach out to us at Stress Mastery and in the community or online. And we thank you for joining us today. Is there anything else you want to say, Pablo?
no, just thank you for the invitation. I think this is one of my favorite podcasts, so being a guest speaker here is really, really an honor. So I'm very
Yeah,
glad.
cool. I'm glad I asked you, and I'm so glad that you were able to do it. So that's it for today's show. Like we just said, our mission here is to create a shift in the planet. If you want to join us on that mission, you can just simply like, share, and subscribe. And the links are right below the show notes. As always, until next time, stay inspired.